Our movie today begins with Van Sant, who is in jail and exercising inside his cell. He does this to strengthen himself and be a lion among the other prisoners. To understand the story, we go back in time a bit and see a chase between our hero, Van Sant, and an armed man after their last robbery. His partner, Tide, tries to shoot the man even though Van Sant stops him, but he insists until he gets shot and falls. Van Sant swears to get revenge, so he continues chasing the man until they both get out of their cars and start shooting at each other. However, Van Sant takes a shot from the man, who then starts cursing at him. When the man gets close, thinking Van Sant has lost his strength after the shot, Van Sant suddenly appears and shoots him, and the man falls to the ground. Then the sound of the police sirens surrounds them. The man then pulls out his ID and says to him, "You're in big trouble," revealing that he is an undercover police officer. Van Sant is shocked when he finds out that the man he finished off is a police officer. Afterwards, the police arrest Van Sant, and we see him later exercising in his cell. We see Van Sant's father, Alex, and we learn his name is Alex. He gets a call from his friend, Kirk, who tells him they finally found his son. They learn that his son was part of a gang that stole property and got arrested. They also learn that his name recently was Victor, and that the police are trying to prove he killed an undercover officer. Alex gets up and goes to his son in jail. At the prison, he is searched by officers before he can visit Van Sant. During the search, they ask him to leave all his belongings in the lockers, even his glasses, and it becomes clear that this prison is under tight security. After Alex finishes the procedures, he goes to his son, and we learn from their conversation that their relationship is not good and that Van Sant had left home. Van Sant is surprised that his father found him and asks him, "How did you find me?" When Alex refuses to tell him, Van Sant replies, "Of course you found me through Kirk. Just tell me what you want." Alex tells him that he just wants him to be okay and asks how he's doing in this place. Van Sant falls silent and remembers how he was treated when he first arrived here. He remembers a big guy who tried to bully and beat him, but Van Sant marked him and fought back. Van Sant replies to Alex saying, "I honestly don't know what to say." Then Alex asks about the undercover officer who was killed and tells his son, "You have to tell me the truth so I can help you." Van Sant tells him, "I was escaping with a friend of mine from a man who was chasing us, and we didn't even know he was an undercover officer." Alex interrupts him and says, "So you really killed the officer?" Van Sant replies, "Even if I did, killing isn't something new to you." Alex replies, "That was my job, so you could have food to eat. I was indeed far from you, but I had to." Van Sant gets angry and tells him, "I'm here because of you, because you were always too busy for me. You didn't even come to my graduation party, and I'll never forget my mother, who wanted to see you just once on her deathbed. At that time, I had nothing I could do but lie to her and tell her you were on your way, until she finally died heartbroken, holding my hand." Alex can't say anything to Vincent except, "I'm sorry." Vincent gets angry and tells him, "Get out of here and don't come back." Afterwards, we go to another prisoner named Max, who is with a committee of officers and a social worker because he has applied for parole. As soon as he sees an officer, Max speaks to him with arrogance and says, "How's the wound I gave you?" The officer replies, "And how are your electroshock therapy sessions?" Max laughs and doesn't reply. Then the social worker asks them to start the discussion. One of the committee members says that the reason Max was in jail was for detonating 4 bombs. Max interrupts him and says, "They were 15, but the police, bless their hearts, only admitted to 4. Then the officer continues, "You got into 4 fights in jail and killed 3 men in them." Max replies, "Well, they deserved it." The officer then says, "So why should we let you go?" Max replies, "Because I'm more dangerous inside than outside the prison." Then we go to a terrorist group led by Luke, and it looks like they're planning something big. Afterwards, we return to the officers, who all vote that Max must stay in prison. Max tells them, "What you're doing is just stupidity, because as long as I'm inside, you don't know how many disasters will happen outside." Then he looks at the officer who arrested him and says, "I'm sorry that you wasted your life looking for me, to the point that your wife and kids left you." It's clear that he's stalling for time, waiting for something specific. Then he continues, "Don't forget to tell me how your friend is, who, because of me, is eating through tubes in the hospital." The officer gets angry and goes to kill him, but the surprising thing is that the female officer behind Max is with him and shoots the officer, killing him. Then with complete coolness, Max asks about the time. The committee members get scared and say, "It's 10 o'clock. At the same time, Alex is in the prison bathroom, and suddenly a huge explosion starts inside the prison. We discover that Max's handcuffs weren't closed on his hands at all. He tells the officer, "Finish them off. I'm done talking to them." And indeed, this officer kills all of them. Van Sant and his cellmates are shocked. We see Luke entering the surveillance room and killing the officers there. Then he talks to Max, who connects him to the loudspeakers. Max speaks, introduces himself to everyone in the prison and tells them, "Whoever wants to escape from here, feel free to escape." At this time, Alex is on the ground because of the explosion. Max continues, "But whoever stays here will be under my command. As my demands to the government are met, you will be rewarded." The prisoners like this situation and start destroying everything in front of them in the prison. The last thing Max says is that all the employees and the people who came to visit their families will have their phones taken by his men, and he will hold them hostage in the cafeteria until his demands are met. He threatens that if anyone thinks of being a hero, he will finish them off. Then Max asks the officer with him to film him so he can publish his demands to everyone. The video starts and Max introduces his name and the reason he was in jail. He asks them to free the rest of his gang from the different prisons they are in. Then he tells them that he has freed the prisoners who asked for freedom, and if his demands are not met, he will blow up the rest of the prison with the hostages in it. He shows them the committee members who are dead. Then he gives the government 6 hours to have his team members on his helicopter. Alex hears all of this and manages to get out of the bathroom. When he gets out, he meets a man wearing the same police uniform that the officer who searched him was wearing. He knows from his name tag that he is not the officer, so he pretends not to notice and says, "I got shot in the shoulder and I need to go to the hospital." But suddenly the criminal decides to finish him off. He comes and shoots at him, but Alex ducks the bullet and manages to hit the criminal until he finishes him off. At that time, a call comes in on the walkie-talkie to the criminal because of the sound of the gunshot that was heard. But Alex answers as if he were him and says that someone was trying to escape and he finished him off. Afterwards, we see the police surrounding the place, and Officer Chaz knows what happened and that a large group of prisoners escaped after the explosion, but they were all caught. We return to Max, who is getting to know the new prisoners, which include Van Sant and his friend. Max tells them, "Why did you choose me over freedom?" One of them steps forward and says, "I'm ready to do anything for you, leader." But the strange thing is that Max gets close to him and kills him and says to the rest, "The fool made it clear from the first 2 words that he's just a spy." Then he asks about the weapons storage, and Van Sant replies that he knows its location. And indeed, he takes the rest of the men to arm themselves. We return to Chaz, who is threatening Max. But Max fires 2 shots from his pistol and tells Chaz that he killed a hostage. Chaz gets nervous and says, "Just give me time to meet your demands." At this time, Alex calls and asks to speak to Chaz. When he talks to him, he tells him that he was seeing everything that was happening without Max noticing, and tells him that he is lying and didn't kill anyone, and that they shouldn't meet his demands. Then he tells him that all the hostages are in the cafeteria. Chaz is surprised and asks Alex who he is, but Alex refuses to reveal his true identity and just says that he is an old friend of theirs. Alex walks a few steps after that, and there he finds 2 of Max's men, but one of them goes into the bathroom. Alex pulls out his weapon and gets close to one of them, finishes him off, and then takes his weapon. As soon as the second one comes out of the bathroom, he finishes him off as well. We return to Van Sant, who brings the team to the weapons storage until Luke arrives and asks him, "Why didn't you take a weapon?" Van Sant replies, "Because the weapon is what got me here." Luke tells him, "And the weapon, by the way, is what will get you out of here." We return to Alex, who finds 2 more men in his way and shoots at them. But the problem is that he only has 1 bullet left, so he finishes off one of them with it, and the second one attacks him before he can use his weapon, and he manages to finish him off with his hands. We go to Max, who talks to Chaz, but as soon as Chaz hears his voice, he says, "Just give me some time." So Max fires a shot in the air again and says, "I just killed a new hostage because of you." Then he says, "Don't forget to bring me a means of transportation with you." We go to Alex, who we see has reached the weapons storage and sees the prisoners who decided to join the gang, and his son is among them. Van Sant notices Alex's presence but can't expose him and says to them, "I'm going to do something. You all continue." At this time, Alex has prepared a smoke bomb, and he throws it at them. They start shooting randomly, and Alex pulls out his weapon to finish them off. Alex goes into the smoke, and first someone comes from behind him, and then he finishes him off. And then he deals with the second one after that. And after he hits him, he finishes him off as well. The rest of the armed prisoners arrive at Max's location, and Van Sant is with them. Max asks everyone to leave so he can talk to Van Sant alone because he likes him. He tells him that he was a demolitions officer a long time ago and was wronged by the government, and that's why he detonates all the places that the government is happy with. At that moment, one of the 3 men that Alex threw the smoke bomb at comes in and tells Max everything that happened. Max gets upset and says, "And that's why I'm going to kill a hostage as well." and he pretends to kill someone. Afterwards, Chaz talks to Alex and knows his name. Alex is surprised how Chaz knew his name, but he tells him, "You have to know that I'm on your side." Chaz gets excited and says, "I'm sure of that now, but we need you more on the outside because what you did made Max kill a group of hostages." Alex tells him that since he entered this place, he hasn't seen any hostages at all and feels like something is wrong. Then he asks about a prisoner named Van Zandt, if he was one of the prisoners who escaped. Chaz replies no, and that means he's still inside. Alex tells Chaz that he won't get out without his son. We then go to Max, who we find is angry and has gathered all his men and tells them, "I'm sure that the person who is killing my men is not a cop and he must be from the special forces because they are the ones who can stay for a long time without anyone catching them." Then he tells his men that he will give $1 million to whoever catches him. Van Zandt knows it's his father, but he stays silent and moves with the rest. We return to Alex, who is looking for the hostages and indeed finds them, but they are all dead. He calls Chaz and tells him that he found all the hostages dead. When Alex hangs up the phone, a big guy appears in his face, and he manages to punch him, and he flies. Alex takes a small pair of scissors and keeps hitting him with it, and the big guy keeps choking Alex until he throws him on the ground next to the pistol and grabs a knife and is about to finish him off. But Alex grabs the weapon and finishes him off first. But unfortunately, the man falls on him, and while he was breathing his last, he keeps trying to put the knife in his neck. Alex keeps holding his hand until he dies. We go to Max, who calls Chaz from an unknown number. Chaz doesn't answer, but Max finds out, and with that, he knows Alex's name. Then Max asks Chaz, "Did you meet my demands or not yet?" Chaz replies, "I found out that you killed all the hostages." Max tells him, yes, of course you found out from your informant." This provokes Chaz and he tells him, "He's not an informant or a cop, he's something much bigger than that." Max replies, "You seem to trust him a lot." Chaz assures him that he trusts Alex a lot. We go to Alex, who is ducking from someone shooting at him, and the surprise is that he discovers it's Vincent. He tries to convince him to stay away from all of this, but Vincent tells him that Max has the right to do this because of the injustice he was subjected to, and besides, he has his principles and will never harm the hostages. Alex replies to his son, "Max is not what you think he is." But Alex doesn't care and says to him, "I'm fighting for the cause of injustice." "But what are you fighting for?" Then he tells him that Max doesn't kill innocent people, unlike you who killed Max's friends. Alex tells Vincent, "Unfortunately, all the hostages were killed." But Vincent doesn't believe Alex's words, and at that moment, Alex tells him, "You're just like your mother." Vincent gets angry when he mentions his mother. Alex tells him, "Think about what I said instead of dying for nothing." Vincent replies, "I won't kill you," and shoots him in the leg and tells him, "Get out of here if you can." Afterwards, we see Alex in a hidden place, taking out a sewing kit and a bullet from his leg, and he wraps it to stop the bleeding. Then one of Max's men calls him on the walkie-talkie, and Alex replies and they threaten each other. We discover from their conversation that they have known each other for a long time. Alex tells Max, "I was a good officer like you, but from the first mistake, they took me out of service. But innocent people are not to blame for you to kill them." Max turns the conversation around and says, "I see you're trying to save someone from here, and since all the hostages are dead, it must be one of the prisoners who are with me." Alex gets nervous and hangs up. Then he calls Chaz and tells him that he discovered that his son joined the gang and that he wants to protect him from them. Chaz tells him that they will send Max the helicopter he asked for, but as soon as he gets in, they will detonate it. And after that, the special forces will be in the place in minutes from now and will also finish off all of Max's men. Alex replies to Chaz, "These minutes are enough for me to save my son." Alex reaches the place where the police who are cooperating with Max are, but he only has an ordinary pistol. But he doesn't give up and shoots at them. But the gunfire at him is heavy until he manages to finish off the first one of them. Then a second one appears, so Alex hides and pretends to be hit. And as soon as the second man gets close to Alex, he finishes him off. Alex is unable to walk, but he resists. And before he can catch his breath, the third man appears suddenly, but Alex, of course, finishes him off like the ones before him. But the strange thing is that Luke is looking at what is happening and laughing loudly. At the same time, we see the special forces securing the place. We return after that to Luke, who is impressed by Alex's character and decides to fight him without a weapon. And indeed, they start hitting each other, but Luke grabs Alex's wound to weaken him and then throws him on the ground. After that, Luke tells Alex about the injustice he was subjected to from the government and tells him that he was kidnapped by a terrorist group, and when the police arrived at the headquarters of this group, instead of rescuing him, they exploited him. And the only one who helped him was Max. Alex laughs and gets up suddenly on Luke and jumps on him and keeps hitting him until he finishes him off. At this time, Max gets a call from Chaz and tells him that the helicopter will be with him in 5 minutes. Max gets ready to go to the helicopter and takes Vincent with him. And indeed, they go up to the roof of the building together, and as soon as they get to the roof, Max pulls out his weapon and points it at Vincent and says, "I had a feeling that he was coming for you, but I want to know, who is he to you?" Vincent replies that he is his father. Max decides to give the weapon to Vincent and tells him, "You will be the one who decides now. Take the pistol, man, and see if you want to be on my side or on your father's side and finish me off now." It appears that Max loved Vincent, and indeed, Vincent takes the weapon but can't kill Max. So Max is happy with him and is about to take him with him. But at this time, Alex arrives, so Max shoots him and he falls to the ground. Van Sant runs to him and hugs him, and with that he sees Max for what he really is. After that, and before the helicopter arrives, Alex shoots Max. But this doesn't stop him. And indeed, Max manages to hold on to the helicopter's ladder, and it moves away with him. Alex hugs him and tells him, "Let's go home." And indeed, Alex leaves with Vincent after he knows the truth about his father's job. And the movie ends there. If you liked the video, hit like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.